Mark Rogers TV back with you, running through these bowl game previews. We bring on Ryne Hancock. He writes for AAC Football Preview and also BroJackson.com. We're talking Miami Beach Bowl. We've got Memphis taking on BYU. The Tigers coming off a nice season, 7-1 and tying for the conference championship in the American Athletic Conference, also 9-3 overall. Hey, Ryan, thanks so much for stopping by, man.
No problem. Thank you so much, Mark.
This is good stuff. So let's dive into this one because the Tigers have a very hot commodity at head coach Justin Fuente doing a nice job with the Tigers there. Just can you give us a breakdown, because a lot of big names are out there, a lot of big programs have availabilities, and what could possibly be in the mix for Coach Fuente?
Well, right now, before Wisconsin opened up, I literally believed that that Fuente could get better job offers than what was being available at the time. But now, with Wisconsin being open, I personally believe he could get considered for that job, even though there's been a report that Pitt's Paul Chryst is supposed to be meeting with athletic director Barry Alvarez. He's done a fantastic job here in Memphis. The first time I met the guy, I met him 3 years ago. Ironically, we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary since his presser. He's kind of like he's doing what Gary Patterson did at TCU. And I said this 3 years ago. I said this guy is going to use the TCU blueprint here in Memphis, which is build the program up, get the community involved, and more importantly, just have a kind of like a blue-collar mentality with this program, which is something that has not been seen here in this city in a long time.
So definitely he's got a situation down there in the South with Memphis. Of course, the basketball is great in Memphis. The high school talent for basketball hoops is amazing. But with Mississippi right there, with Tennessee, he definitely has some football players in his backyard as well. He's got to be a great recruiter to build a Memphis team that doesn't have a whole lot of football tradition to what he's been able to do the past couple of years. So your thoughts about what makes him a really good coach in regards to offensive and defensive? What does he like to do?
He likes to throw. He likes to spread the ball around. This is a team that spreads the ball around quite a bit, but more importantly, the foundation of their offense is the ground and pound. I mean, they got some great running backs, and they also got Paxton Lynch, who has evolved into one of the best quarterbacks in the conference in the AAC. The one thing about AAC football, in order to win in the AAC, Mark, you gotta have experienced offensive skill players, and you gotta have a tough defense. And they have both of those things working for them here in Memphis.
So for some of us that check out a lot of Power 5 conference football, and then we lock in on some of these the non-Power 5 during postseason play, and maybe see a Memphis for the first time. And what really sticks out to those of us that watch the national scene is the effort against UCLA at the Rose Bowl. Given the Bruins and Brett Hundley all they could handle, 42-35 in that game. So we're going to see maybe Memphis, millions of people for the first time in months. Your thoughts about what we should be looking out for? Who are some of those playmakers on both sides of the ball that should catch our eye?
I told you about Paxton Lynch, but I'm going to tell you this. Another guy, Bobby McClain. Bobby McClain is one of the best defensive players that nobody is talking about. Him and Tulane's Pari Nickerson, who is a freshman over at Tulane. Those are the two best defensive players that you do not hear about because they play in the AAC, because they don't get the kind of the pub that other players get, that other players around the country get. You don't hear that much about them. But Bobby McClain is one guy I would definitely I urge people to look out for. You also got to look out for Paxton Lynch. Those are two guys off the top of my head that should be that this country should get a look at on Christmas Eve when Memphis plays BYU in Miami.
Well, definitely, this is going to be an interesting game. All you need to know about the AAC in regards to what what they've been able to do against the big boys is just go through the last couple of years and take this test, letting some people know out there of who they've defeated outside of the conference in the Power Five, and it's pretty substantial. And obviously, we know what Central Florida did in the Fiesta Bowl against Baylor. BYU comes in without Taysom Hill, who was their starting quarterback early in the season, Heisman Trophy candidate, who's been injured. They come in at 8-4. Hey, Ryan, got a prediction for this game?
I see Memphis 28, BYU 17.
All right, good stuff. Memphis could finish this thing off with a 10-win season and hopefully hang on to their football coach. But Justin Fuente, it looks like could be off to some greener pastures. If not this year, maybe in future seasons because he's doing a job in Memphis. Hey, Ryan, before we let you go, let us know what you're working on and where we can find you.
Well, right now I'm actually going to be working on something called about the Tulane basketball game. It's going to be called Uptown Story, and I'm also a short story writer. I'm also working on the Great Pizza Battle of New Orleans, and I'm also going to be I also have a podcast every Friday night 6:30 p.m. It's called a Poetry Street Report. You can hear myself, Quentin Scott, Kirk Washington. We talk about the Saints. We talk about SEC football. We talk about everything under the sun. We have no chill whatsoever on our show, and that's on the Double Overtime Radio Network on Blog Talk Radio. Just look us up. Look us up on iTunes. Look us up on Xbox Live, Stitcher Radio. We're all over the place and everything, Mark.
Ryan, you're all over the place. This is good stuff. I appreciate the preview on some Memphis football. Not a whole lot known nationally about the Tigers, but they're a pretty solid football team and should be a good one against BYU. Appreciate the time, man. You have a good night.
All right, thank you.